Hey, you guys. Oh, that Brent Spiner clone had the gall to comment about me online, so I am going after him for defamation. He is making public comments about me, stating that I am mentally ill when he knows full well he's a clone, that I'm not mentally ill, and that I have the real Brent Spiner in my life. And I'm really pissed at him right now. You know why I'm pissed at him? Because his Hurricane Irma, he and his Jew clones have been using a bunch of Jew clone scientists using HARP and satellite technology to create these horrible hurricanes like Harvey in Houston. Oh, that's really clever of you, Jew clone, creating Harvey. That's really clever. He thinks that by attacking Brent Spiner's town, he can make it look like he's not behind all these crazy hurricanes. But they're too crazy to be anything other than a human orchestration. And now he's going to try to blame it on Trump. I mean, this is just too much. You might say, how's he going to blame it on Trump? Well, I regularly peruse Lori McBride and the Brent Spiner clones Twitter, though I think they have me muted. That's because they've got a certain agenda with me. You see, they've got to discredit me because I'm exposing the fact that Lori McBride is a clone, that the real Brent Spiner has never wanted her, that her son Jackson was conceived using semen which she stole from drug rape of Brent Spiner in 1992. Then she used artificial insemination to impregnate herself. And Jesuit women can grow a baby in their womb like in a day and give birth. Though if they want, they can make it last longer if they want to trick everybody. So she deliberately created this child that she is using to trap Brent Spiner into marriage with her and to make sure he never marries me. So the reason I'm claiming defamation, I've got a link underneath this video that I want everyone to check out, which is proof that I have the real Brent Spiner in my life. There is very strong circumstantial evidence that I have the real Brent Spiner in my life. The Lori McBride Jesuits do not want you to know this. And they've got a propaganda campaign out there where they've flooded the internet with defamatory websites about me, claiming that I'm mentally ill so that they can harm me and make it look like I did it because of my own mental illness. Right now, there is a nasty Category 5 Hurricane Irma headed for me. I live in Melbourne, Florida. It is headed right to me. And I mean, look at this, folks. There was Harvey in Houston. That's Brent Spiner's hometown. And now, and within 2 weeks after that, we got Irma. And then we got all these Jose's, and Katya, and all these. I mean, I've never seen so many hurricanes in my life. You might say, oh, it's climate change. Yeah, that's what they're going to do. They're going to blame it on Trump. They're going to say this is all happening because of climate change. But does climate change cause a hurricane to target a specific town? Why Houston? Why did Harvey, and why all the flooding? I mean, why did the hurricane just go around in circles and just hang around and hang around and hang around in Houston and it wouldn't leave? What a strange hurricane. It was like somebody planned for it to be that way. And why, within 2 weeks after Harvey, now we got Irma, and it's breaking the record books as the worst Category 5 hurricane. In fact, some people say it should be a Category 6. And it's headed right towards me. And you know what? I'm really pissed. One of these Jew clones wrote me, and he taunted me at Twitter on September the 6th when I said I'd stay in Florida to try and use my Gale Shield against Irma. He tweeted, "Goodbye." I told him that he and Lori McBride will be saying goodbye and that his time in hell will make Irma seem like a picnic. He replied that that was not likely. He was making stuff, and then he was making up stuff about me saying that I misspelled Jew when I tweeted him, when the word Jew was not even part of the conversation. I didn't even use it. And he told me I needed mental health therapy. I then played him, "The Lord is my light and my salvation, whom then shall I fear?" Based on Psalm 27. He then played me some Jewish music in response to my Christian music, insinuating his Jewish God would protect him and defeat me. And then I told him that Jesus, or Adonai, which is the Jewish word for God, does not consider him a Jew. He's a Jew clone, just like that Brent Spiner clone. and that no true Jew would attack me, the King David woman. He told me I needed to get on my medication. Then I answered, well, I'm obeying the Gale commandments, which you well know, and I'm taking my Seroquel. And he made a couple of idiotic comments to show disrespect for my faith in God and to taunt me. And he gave me links to Jesuit websites that had me portrayed as crazy. And there are plenty of them out there because the Jesuits are Laurie McBride Jesuits, and Brent Spiner's the clone is Laurie McBride Jesuits, are totally obsessed with me, which you can tell by the mere creation of all these nutty hurricanes, especially Irma, which is targeted to almost give me a direct hit. I'm busy getting ready for that monster right now. Yeah, you Jew clones, so climate change is responsible for the way these hurricanes are orchestrated to target me and my supporters? How stupid do you think everybody is? Brent Spiner's from Houston, and I live in Melbourne, Florida. And I gave this evil, tricky Jew clone links to my sites to prove that everything I say is true, even if it's hard to believe for some people. Finally, I muted him. Then that tricky Jew clone removed all his tweets, except for the one where he said goodbye, when I said I was staying in Melbourne to try to use my Gale Shield to protect the state, to create the impression that I'm crazy and talking to a ghost. When I saw he did this, I removed all my tweets with him and blocked him from my Twitter. I only bring him up to let you know that this was one of Laurie McBride's Jew clones, and they are behind the creation of Irma. He gave himself away several times, especially when he played Jewish music in response to my Christian music. For those of you who've been keeping up with me, Laurie McBride has created an army of Jew clones. She almost replaced every genuine Jew in Israel with Jew clones. It would have been a major calamity if that happened. You can go to, I'll have a link to that video underneath this video. So it's funny how he seemed to know where all the Jesuit websites are that had me portrayed as crazy. The Jewish music video had a lot of wind in the background, like hurricane winds, like he was laughing at Florida for this hurricane that he and his Jew clone compatriots created. As you can tell, Laurie and her Jew clones, including that Brent Spiner Jew clone, who I think is in charge of all the Jew clones, are disgusting. I can't wait till they go down. Jew clones are clones of authentic Jewish people, and they impersonate the person in a bad way. I mean, they make that person seem evil. Jesuits have technology to create a clone in cloning labs and to artificially age that person using accelerated growth hormones. So a clone could be created, let's say, last month, and within 1 month they are aged to look like they're 40 years old or whatever is the age of the actual Jewish person that they impersonate. If the Jewish person they impersonate is a good person who would never support Laurie McBride, like the real Brent Spiner, who Jesus calls my husband, they will try to kill that person so that he won't get in their way, and their imposter, like that Brent Spiner Jew clone who's taken over Brent's Twitter. Have you noticed he removed Brent Spiner's picture from the Twitter and put a cartoon caricature up there? You know why he did that? Because if anybody with an ounce of emotional intelligence studies his real picture and sees how shallow his eyes are, they can tell there's no way he could be the real Brent Spiner, who has depth, sensitivity, and intelligence, and is not a dork. Since this clone has taken over Brent's Twitter, it has really gone downhill. I mean, he's a joker, and this clone's trying to impersonate him. The problem is, Brent's jokes are funny, but this clone's jokes are dorky. And he's like an alt-leftist in his views, though he claims that he's not anything, but he's a fake. He's not the real Brent. So, and also, Brent, I want you to sue him and the Laurie McBride clones. And sue him, and all the Jew clones, and Laurie McBride Jesuits for Irma and Harvey. Sue them for it. Make them pay damages. They're behind it. I'm really angry. They should not be doing this. This is really bad. So, anyways, that Jewish music video had a lot of winds in the background, like he was laughing at Florida for this hurricane that he and his Jew clones created. What they do is they create a clone in cloning labs, They artificially age the person using accelerated growth hormones, so a clone could be created, let's say last month, and then within 1 month, they're aged to look like they're 40 years old or whatever is the age of the actual Jewish person that they impersonate. If the Jewish person they impersonate is a good person like Brent, they might try to kill him. So this explains why all these clones have the maturity of a 2-year-old spoiled brat. If you ever read Laurie McBride or the Brent Spiner Jew Clone's Twitter, and Brent Spiner hasn't said a word at his Twitter for about 2 years now, it's all been the clone or Angelina Ballerina or somebody else, you will notice that they have the maturity of a 2-year-old spoiled brat. Well, these 2-year-old spoiled brats have become deadly. I mean, they may be immature, but they have genius IQ. And they're using their genius IQ, because the Jews are an intelligent race, even though I don't really consider Jew clones Jews, they did get the intelligence, the IQ of the Jewish race. They just don't have the goodness of a lot of Jews, and so basically they're amoral. They have no moral standards. So these 2-year-old spoiled brats have become deadly, and frankly, they're so dangerous. They're creating these hurricanes, folks. My conspiracy law needs to be enforced. Jew clones create calamities, then play victim about it in order to use it to destroy their enemies. All right, you're going to talk about me online and call me crazy? I'm going after you for defamation. Okay? I have a right to expose you when you defame me, Jew clone. Okay? You can go ahead and block me at your Twitter. I don't care. I would consider that an honor. I don't interact with you. You understand? I only expose you. You could come and be my next door neighbor and I wouldn't even say hi to you. That's how much respect I have for you. I just ignore you. You are nothing. In fact, if you didn't steal Brent Spiner's celebrity status, you'd be lucky if you'd have any type of career at all. You're such a loser. You have to impersonate Brent to get your money and kill people, and it's disgusting. Why don't you just marry Laurie McBride? Change your name. Quit trying to fake quit stealing the real Brent Spiner's identity. He hates it that you've taken over his Twitter. Anyways, they're probably going to blame climate change for all these hurricanes and say it's Trump's fault. Only an idiot would believe that. Climate change has nothing to do with Irma. Pray for Florida, folks. And yes, we need to listen. Fortunately, I've got hurricane impact windows. My mother called me and she said my sister wanted me to stay with her. I trust my sister like I do the devil. My sister is BFF with Laurie McBride. I said I would rather go through her Category 5 hurricane than evacuate and stay at my sister's. God knows what she might do. Anyways, climate change has nothing to do with these hurricanes, folks. My sister's name is Sandra Metcalf. She's BFF with Laurie McBride. Shame on her. Shame, shame, shame. I can't believe it. I don't even want to admit my own blood relative is doing this. Anyways, climate change has nothing to do with Irma. It's the Jew clones and Laurie McBride, and they need to pay for this. Pray for Florida, folks, and pray that my Gale Shield works. I feel so bad for Miami. So bad for Miami. This is what I am pissed at you, Jew clone. How dare you create Irma? How dare you? Don't blame it on Trump, you big liar. Don't blame it on Trump.